Welcome everyone to more live on YouTube Linux distribution development. Did I even? Probably not, huh? Oh, darn, that was very clever for me. Anyway, let's fix PHP. Let's maybe wait a second. Let me just mount that. So let's fix PHP. Oh, some updates, mostly from data, I guess. Yep. Let's fix PHP to cross-compile. Not sure if it ever cross-compiled, but someone on Discord wanted to run this on their PS3, as of course you do on your PS3. And so some patch, I can't use this patch directly because it's a little bit of a YOLO fix of configure PHP, hard coding that. So this is unknown, so failing stuff here, and it fails with. Not a fan of this stuff, but you can't just patch it. Yes, right. So we need to patch that a little bit better than that. So this is why what maintainers do, right? Not accepting all the stuff always instantly with everything, and missing module config, for example, files left out. Let's review that. So how do we do that? We, of course, support to memory caching support was found when configuring up cache. I guess we can quirk that too. Anyway, let's move that over and see what they changed. So that would be PHP, and the other, of course, we need to not patch that, but to like fix yes, because it would not work on like 80% of the other little endian. Maybe I need to make a video, little endian versus big endian, for all the new people. But PHP like that, and let's see what they modified there too. Is also why actually otherwise. Okay, without. Okay, this is theoretically not. So this is also not how you do it. This is also why we live stream it. People always ask, how do you package stuff? Of course, I create packages in many videos. So I'm not entirely sure, although maybe I should make a dedicated video. So without Apache, I think we would want that like in general, not like PowerPC. So that would be package installed Apache. I think we have. I think we have this Apache. So then disable Apache. Of course, you don't hard code that on PowerPC. And the other thing is maybe this is also not PowerPC. This is, I think theoretically this should probably work. So if we like YOLO the configure test stuff of finding there some mmap whatever something it is using, or other cache control function mechanism whatsoever stuff, then that probably would work. But until then, can simply add stage cross and disable that for now. Better than hard coding that on PowerPC. So here's, by the way, what is here with Apache? Here is something prefix package installed something. Okay, fine. So let's try that again. Probably still needs more enablement. So some of the camera is very bright today. Really not entirely sure why this. It's a little bit, no, whatever. Doesn't matter too much. Interestingly, it builds a little bit further, I think. Let's see, is this failure a... apparently it was marked to cross-compile, otherwise it probably wouldn't. Yeah, it is marked to cross-compile for some reason. Maybe someone actually really did that. I'm personally not a user of PHP, so it might not have been me. What do we have there? Error RSA SSL undeclared. This looks like an OpenSSL regression. So I'm slightly Indian. Okay, so this is not okay. This indeed, I mean, it doesn't abort, but I'm not sure if it will work. the question is, do they check this just, I mean, I said this so many times, a lot of configure scripts are just full of checking stuff for fun without actually freaking really using that. And just some family messaging there. It could be that they just check this without using that. Indian, is it big Indian something CV? Okay, so we can fully cache that. I think there might be some ACCV something Indian thing. What do they? Okay, so they want here yes, no, probably. And so the right fix for that is to fill the config cache with the right value. ACCV. Okay, there is, so if they would not have renamed that stupidly to PHP for some, so much to experts of using autoconf exactly as designed and stuff and reinventing the wheel. If they wouldn't have reinvented the stuff, it would actually just work with T2 because we pre-fill ACCV. See big Indian. Let's grab for something similar. There probably is something similar somewhere. If test auto, okay, this is, do we not have any, interesting. Conf. So the reason I grabbed this, that even for me it is more error prone to rewrite that from scratch, obviously. Much easier to just copy and paste something like that. No, I should have. I think it was just with PHP at the end. So that was Arch Big Endian. Oops. Let's pre-edit this so that should be, so like basically I only wonder, oh, I think this should work like that. So I think this was just with _PHP. That is the issue of only having one copy and paste buffer. I know some people run fancy stuff for multiple copy and paste buffers, but whatever. So that would be PHP conf. Do we have here at stage? We have that. Here's more cross actually already. Okay. Because we have here already more cross stuff, it of course makes sense to unify all the stuff so much. So that is a attention to detail, recurring theme, what maintainers do. Not just blindly applying each patch, but some thinking. And maybe we try to update that. Where is even the, here. Cross something that was that. Oh, wait a second. Cache, yeah, so obviously much better than having here one block. If we have more like one or two, then of course you have the one if block for that, if cross something. Again, this opcache probably, all of them probably could be tweaked to work, but that is something for another day. Just wanted to do a little bit of maintenance here. And so Indian, let's see if that cached, yes, so that works as expected. We probably simply commit that PHP fixed PHP to cross compile again and detect, either detect or wire configure and DNS. Not sure if it's used as they have there's some, I could grab that, but in any case better to wire that up than not. let's see, there might be a new version, at least that is what I normally would expect, and let's hope they better fixed support for the latest OpenSSL version, because that I wrote out there, okay, this is not that much newer. Let's see what happens with that version. The usual win-win. I'm personally, for many ways, not a PHP fan. Syntax is of course relatively like shell, but of course slow and security and so on. Although yeah, they worked on slow for decades, but anyway, not the most preferable language in my opinion. PHP Open SSL3 patch. Let's see if we can Google here, patch P53. Oh, this is totally old stuff. So yeah, also your Google search, totally amazing, right? This is PHP 8 also, but yeah, of course they didn't fix that. This is always, what if PHP would be my, or is this still OpenSSL? It looks like it's still, right? Parse T, also this is parse time zone, what in timelib? Wait a second, oh, but no, what this is in, oh no, this is just a warning. Yeah, if that would be my project, like PHP, if I invented this and made a living out of this, I would really patch this kind of stuff faster. I'm always surprised what's the state about such stuff. As per usual, also this is this crazy stuff, right? Google makes everything, but I mean, maybe the search is amazing for normal people to Google their normal stuff, but somehow I found the Google search really lacking these days. It's not doing the most for me. So yeah, OpenSSL, also theoretically it has like how useful, like, yeah, not really useful, thanks for that. Please tell us what you were trying to do. Diagnose or fix a problem, I guess. Yeah, welcome. Navarro comments, PHP is not so much amazing by itself, but very amazing when you look at the alternatives. Interpreted server-side scripting like Python. Is Python not more amazing than PHP? I would, my impression and experience is everything is more amazing than PHP. Like Python and I mean Ruby was certainly pretty like Ruby on Rails and stuff. Is like everything not more amazing than, is this probably Perl than PHP than Python and Ruby or something? Leave me comments below. Yeah, so could mostly work if it would not be for that stuff. We all did I, so maybe I should, if I don't reply now, then I need to cross and sorted into trunk things. And did I lightning, so like that TPD. Oops, I think I didn't press Y enough. So what did they added there? I already see white space damage, but that was already there. Copy default config file, so that is just this is not how you're doing that. You because with that you could theoretically delete I mean, there shouldn't be make files, but you do not copy stuff and then find delete that. That is not good style. Emmett Ray, can you tell us your PC specs? Well, I've overkill build video, right? So PC specs, AMD Ryzen 5950X because we need epic thread ripping, Parallel compile open source sources, and since previous video there are RISC-V stuff with a new GPU and now an AMD RX 6700 XT. Previous video, right? And 96 gig of memory, of what you, overkill Linux developer stuff, right? Previous videos I have on the more main channel, multiple videos of here and obviously, right, stuff like that, and oh wait a second, I always Google the wrong number for some reason. There, it's also not mine though. Why? Anyway, you get the idea. Other epic software bring. So yeah, I would need to they copy tests to. I mean, the thing is, I don't like too much. Also, I would actually. So yeah, this change. Not the most amazing for multiple reasons, because I don't like over copying stuff, like cluttering the system with too much stuff. I think one example config is good. I would also not copy. Is this usually okay? This might be because this conf is etc something. I would have some additional docs and tests more in docdir, not in this conf dir, and definitely not copy stuff and then delete it. So yeah, sorry also, if you watch this, maybe I need to just comment later. So yeah, not commenting that like that. We could, however, also maybe sometime soon, like maybe tonight, I need to go soon because meeting friends and family and running with Junio in the sun. So, actually, family just messaged a little bit later, so that is of course good for YouTube live streaming, because to enjoy the 1550X and RX 6700 XT, we could actually package some more games, also for playing this on RISC-V, right? I was told gaming on RISC-V super amazing on YouTube. So maybe we use 30 minutes of packaging some games. Actually, I should make this a second video for more people to watch it, because most viewers hate long live streams and like one topic per video. But one thing we can quickly do, data is still working, also tset data update maybe, we could check if we, because I just saw this white space damage and I don't really like not white space, it's not really damage, it's damage is more like if you edit patches that then have white space inconsistencies and damage with the context in the patch. But white space coding style use, we could try substituting 1, 2, 3, 4, actually maybe beginning of the line or everywhere. Let's try 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, I'm not sure if that will work, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in all of conf. This is actually okay. This is actually quite so much. This is why I like to automate stuff, right? SED and org and TR and stuff. And now I think this should have been clean, so we can revert conf. Let's anchor that at the beginning of the line. That probably, okay, there's still, maybe this one, here's even, yeah, you rarely find that. Okay, this is not the most necessary, but yeah, this is debatable whether, but yeah, here you see the inconsistencies, right? And this is why because it causes some, recurring theme here, not the most necessary here, but maybe we just do it like that. Yeah, so here are multiples, so some of this, all in all, it's not that many if we subtract here some of, yeah, oh, well, also here you see that significant damage. I could, how many are this, though, just to make our, oh, what? $114. Yeah, this is just a little bit attention to detail. Here are some, yeah, definitely some that we do not really need to commit that urgently. Internet Explorer, we really have a package of, yeah, this is certainly super outdated stuff. Don't even remember that this ever existed. I mean, you probably could further automate that. The question is, oh my god, is it? Yeah, the more contributor package, that is more, the more crazy whitespace use there was. Yeah. I mean, some are definitely worth doing. I'm just not. I could probably cheaply, wow, even Squid apparently. One way to probably cheaply do that, uncomment this to select non-standard storage, IO module, replace policies. This is done since extra comfortable mangle options that include spaces. Who is RS? Is it some name comment? Don't even. By the way, I don't remember the Squid ever being updated in a long time. Does it still exist? What is their latest release? 5.1. What do we have? Probably something significantly. Yeah, that is. Yep, recurring win-win. Good that we took a look at that. In case you were wondering why I at times look at such up and down there. Of course, that does not just build. There is even I really like packages that directly compiling something. Ah, here's something. Is this not what we had, or is it slightly different? Let's see if that still builds. Now the issue is we can't really use this one to auto-detect that. Could use that though, that would at least give us a little bit, or do they do directory? The directory list, apparently they maybe, think they do. Okay, then we can leave it like that. Well, it starts to build, so it probably didn't change the most in a decade. So last update, unfortunately, long time ago, yeah, 2013, yeah. Tiny little bit T2 break the last decade. So yeah, games. So the idea would be to package at least, do we have even like some open source? Oh, it's Squid, of course. We have actually Quake 2, interesting. Undefined reference, so that could be, or was it really that? That might be no LTO. Let's try that again. So of course, or not of course, surprisingly or nicely, it also, yeah, in Europe, or at least in Germany, I think we always called this ID software. I really find it crazy that they themselves, when I first heard YouTubers pronounce ID it, I found it strange until I heard John Carmack or so himself pronounce it. If that would be my company, I would have probably pronounced it ID. I find ID much more pleasing to say and hear and stuff than it. But anyway, so they GPL'd their engine source code, so we can have Quake, the engine with all the artwork. We can have these packages, maybe it's even including Doom 3, which, fun fact, I think I never played Doom 3. So we can have those packages with all the artwork in T2. And maybe we do this in some minutes, just to have some more fun here on this channel. We still have, so we have that here, that we just substituted the white spaces. Okay, this is, how should we, I mean, maybe, because it's super annoying to manually go through that now, maybe it's also not easy to manually fix it. Also, maybe one manual fix. Also, what crazy syntax is that here with the colon? This is crazy syntax, to be honest. Wow, is that... why do they have, or this is, why do they even have that here? Copy that to there? Tools? What the heck? Make std root copies? What the heck do they even do here? If copy, why do they have an or? Who would write freaking code like that? That is super bizarre. This is basically or nothing, but why the heck would you do that? I mean, the only thing is that could write an error. This could hide an error. Otherwise, it would error out if there's a copy error. Wow, is it? I mean, after 20 years, you see other people have committed stuff in Rock Linux and T2, but yeah, after 20 years, you can still also, okay, this still doesn't. So yeah, that doesn't build, but oops. But YOLO, whatever. I would say ship it, even if it doesn't freaking build for me, because yeah. Someone else can, if you want to use it, then patch it. I think what I do here is like loop over that, because I don't really want to manually review this stuff. So for file in f in, oh wait, this is wrong. So for all those files, sv and div the file. Actually, maybe we should grab m or something modified. I hate Unispace, Unicode whitespace stuff. Just to avoid one to revert or it's not even that. Yeah, I think I have a risk 5 patch there, but it's not even worth so much. SVB, sure. So one thing I noticed, a lot of the stuff where we probably don't want to have the spaces is with some backslash escape there. So if we grab that and echo what sv and div, grab that, and why do we because that quite. So let's see if we revert then sv and revert that. Oops, no, revert best was a typo. So that reverts maybe half of it. Let's see if let's like filtered out most of it. So that looks good. So you see just some quick heuristics. It actually looks pretty okay, and as a pro, as an added benefit, this helps other people if they copy stuff, like they're on Discord, like new people in the T2 world. If they copy stuff, they copy this white spaces already correctly because we have more and more people contributing. Also, this is a crazy change the run union FS. Man, who has... I mean, maybe sometimes it was me, but I usually am very careful. Yeah, let's manually add here. This should be tabs 2. I intentionally limited that to anchor at the beginning of the regular expression, at the beginning of the line. Actually, this looks pretty okay now. I mean, much better than before. And you see this, a white mix, right? And why I quickly... Okay, this one we could theoretically revert. Let's maybe do that already. And yeah, so this one YouTube live stream, one Sunday or public holiday at a time, making our sources way nicer. Yeah, this is... Yeah, not 100% ideal, but which package? Oh, this is a patch, yeah, whatever. I'm really surprised that we're at such major... This might still have white spaces here, but it's already much, much better. We could do a second path, and it looks pretty good now. So yes, this is exactly this. I mean, again, it works. It's just not pretty, right? It's just attention to detail. It's just good style. This one-liners, my new style is this one-liners, not in if then else, but just the shorter end form. Yeah, but this was a nice find. But I'm surprised that I've done so much polishing the last years live on YouTube. I'm surprised we still find stuff like that. Also, we can remove, say, manually one more new line. I saw here probably no reason to have an extra. Was it? Yeah, that one. It was that one. But I'm increasingly happy with. I mean, it still doesn't solve that some of the stuff is not amazing code, but at least one SED at a time, making this nicer and nicer. This looks actually pretty good, I would say. We could like document that. I commit this more for people playing along at home. Of course, I would just recreate this, but also to inspire people to use it. So we could probably check, let's see if that works. Let's substituting one more round of that, and does it even does something? Let's maybe run this revert loop again, because why not? And let's see what we got there. Is this? Yeah, so this is exactly this. I was mostly looking for this Apache, but similar such. Yeah, it's not much. No, Fridays for Future. Cheers. Electric cars are so nice, quiet, aren't they? This one might not be the most necessary. But I wonder, do we probably should usually not be buggy. I'm not sure why we have that. It's probably decade-old code. I would probably usually assume string to D is usually not buggy, but nah. I think we revert that because it's certainly a tab there that is for that formatting not really necessary there, but so that's not really many, but certainly nice. Yeah, even our commit thing would flag that there, so. So yeah, that is pretty nice, I would say. I hope we didn't break anything. So yeah, mostly merging patches live in this channel, so that is one more package to cross-compile nicer. What do we even have here, though? Stage cross, did we need that? What else did we have there? That was, yeah, it as usual. Why do I have this? Is of course not sure what I've done there. I probably just anyway. So yeah, hope you learned something. Making T2 cleaner, more sorted, more polished, and less white space damaged a day. Maybe we make another live stream in some minutes, packaging some open source. Actually, this is actually yeah, would be use case of how to create a T2 package. Anyway, hope you learned something. Data is still scanning stuff for updates. Hope you learned something, and to have fun with your devices at home. Using tabs saves a lot of space and file size. Many applications, especially web stuff, auto expand to 8. Yeah, one benefit. I mean, the reason is theoretically one nice feature of, well, of course, tabs has a problem of some crazy editors like even Apple's freaking Xcode and others having tab size equals 4 and then stuff moves randomly around. That is, I also wonder how Apple can have a default tabs. I mean, maybe it's some 80s Mac OS default, but that is so crazy. Don't get me started on that. Also, I saw theoretically if you tap everything, maybe we should tap everything, because actually that is really cool, which very few people use, because then everyone can change at their editor if they want like 2, 3, 4, 8 or whatever indentation, right? You could dynamically change it, right? That is actually pretty cool, but for that you need tap everything, which even the T2 sources are not really, or none of my sources are really. But that is actually if that would be consistently used everywhere, like certainly if you work in a project with like a handful of people or even more, you could actually agree to tab everything, right? And some people use 4, some people use 8 or 2 or stuff. That is actually a pretty useful feature, I would say. I would not say it saves that much space, but I think this is usually neglectable. And your shipping web stuff, you might at times obfuscate and totally white space remove anyway, but I mostly wanted somewhat consistent. I'm not the most after spacing are also space savings. One other thing is I find it faster to navigate, right? You don't need to hold your arrow keys as long, although you could at times use Control or Alt arrow key left, right. But yeah, at least I want it consistent, and I find some tab. Also, I mean, yeah, also, unless you use auto indentation, which for me often doesn't work the most, it's also faster to type and stuff, but yeah. Navarro doesn't care too much, can just magic around Vim however I want it, convert it back afterwards. So yeah, also don't care too much. In various projects we also use different, on some C++ stuff we use 2 indentations, on our Lua code we crazily use 3. It might be the Emacs default, right? It's a crazy default. So the nice thing with Lua, do we have, not even sure, do we, Lua, do we have 3 here? We have 3 here, but it might not even be me who has done most of that. Might be because back in the day I was even skeptical of Lua. Someone has recently touched most of that though, not sure why. Initially I was even skeptical of Lua when this was introduced, maybe by Jürgen Georg Sawinski and others at T2 time, I guess. But I find 3 pretty cool for Lua because it naturally fits more with if, right? So if you have 3, then you have if space, so that is why 3 is actually. But I think even Mike Pell from LuaJIT fame finds 3 crazy, maybe. But somehow 3 is a nice balance. It's a crazy choice, but somehow it works. Is it here 3, 1? Especially for if conditionals, and otherwise for 4 and stuff. Although, yeah, somehow I like 3. 3 somehow it's probably the least used, but somehow, yeah, 3 is nice. But 3 we only use for Lua, and for most C++ stuff we use more like 2. And for shell, yeah, also somehow it's crazy, right? For each language you use something else. But historically in Rock Linux T2 we use like more 8 unless like 8 tab unless you have many levels then, or if we add conditionals later. So some stuff is using 4 where I don't like re-indenting everything, so then if later there are some edited conditionals or loops, then it is 4, or if even more edit than 2, especially if the code becomes too much indented, then also 4 and 2. The benefit of that is, for me, I don't like disturbing the history too much if you sometimes need to svn blame or git blame stuff. And if you constantly re-indent stuff with each new conditional, then you change also indentation, obviously, and it's a little bit annoying, I find. 3 makes sense for 4 if and stuff, not a traditional value, 2, 4. Yeah, anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time.